Hello! Welcome to Anime Mystics. I'm Roman, and tonight I am watching Golden Kamuy Episode 2. So, last episode we were introduced to our two main characters, Saichi and Asirpa? Asirpa? I think I'm pronouncing that right, but I'm not entirely sure. Um, Obviously, we meet Saichi first in a flashback to the Russo-Japanese War, which I actually had to look up. I do not know much about history. History I find pretty boring, so I never look anything up unless something like I hear about something and then I go, well, let me look it up and see what this is all about. So I looked it up. I remember making the comment during that section that they need to be careful because Russia has a pretty good track record when it comes to wars, but apparently they beat them in that war. So, whatever. If I read it correctly, I kind of just skimmed through it, but it sounded like they won. Um, anyway, he was, I guess, given the nickname the immortal Saichi or Sugimoto, immortal Sugimoto or something like that, because he had taken, I guess, a lot of bullet wounds and all kinds of damage, but lived. Um, you hear about this after that section where he is fishing with this old man who's drinking on the like a big rock, and he's going on about what he used to be called and all this and that, and then goes into a story about a treasure. And this gets brought up because Saichi needs gold. He needs money because he promised a friend of his that he would take care of his family if anything happened to him. The wife is going blind, and they have a son, I believe. So he needs to get money to help with, like, fix her eyes and take care of him. He's not fishing. What am I talking about? He's sifting through for gold. um, so this guy brings up this story about this dude who had gathered a lot of gold and was eventually arrested. I can't remember exactly for what, but as he was in prison, all of the like guards and a whole bunch of other people were trying to get him to say where his treasure was because they all wanted the money. It's a lot of gold, so obviously just about everybody's going to want it. So what he does is he gets a bunch of like inmates, I guess, that he was friends with, or at least acquaintances with, and he tattoos, I guess, a map on them. Saichi brings up, what good does that do? I mean, to put it on, I think it was like 7 or 9 of them. And the guy says, well, you need all of them. Otherwise, you'll never find the treasure. He ends up talking about how one day when the guy was being taken out because they were looking for the treasure, he had set up, I guess, an ambush or something and got the guards killed, or I think it was actually the like soldiers that had taken him out, and he had staged an ambush to kill them all, and then they got away. So all of the prisoners that have the tattoo, plus that guy, I believe, are out in the country, and in order to get the treasure, they have to find all of these prisoners that have the tattoos and line up the skin to match with, make up the map. We later find out, and not much later, but we find out that this old man is one of the prisoners, and he was actually, because he was drunk, talking too much about this. I don't think he would have brought it up any other way except for when he was drunk. So because of that, he was trying to kill Saichi. But Saiichi ended up getting the better of him. He didn't kill him, but the dude ran off. Excuse me a second. Sorry, I have a slight cold. So he's chasing after him, and he ends up finding a cub, like a bear cub, and then he's like, "Hey, look, a bear cub." He goes, "Oh, wait a second. If there's a bear cub here, that means the mother bear." And then you hear the mother bear like roar, and there it is, and so it's chasing him, and he's running. Ends up kind of falling down this little, not really a hill, but like a small little ledge. Compared to it's on a mountain, so for me it seems kind of small. And the bear ends up getting killed by our second main protagonist, a Sirpa. Now, I think a section I missed is that he actually found the guy, but he was dead and buried in snow, which he thought was, a bear. And it was a bear that killed him. So he thought the mother bear was the one that killed this guy. So the Sirpa comes over and starts, trying to find out, why was this bear chasing you? What are you doing with this dead dude? And he tells her the story, and also says that he believes this mother bear is the one that killed the guy. Had like part of his stomach missing. But she says no, it wasn't this bear. This bear didn't do it. And she cuts it open and goes through the stomach, and there's like no human remains. She mentioned something about a certain bear. I forget what the name was, but they consider it like an evil spirit, basically. Because once it eats human, it doesn't want to eat anything but human. And they show it actually killed a cub. Anyway, after explaining the story, he's like, okay, so you probably don't believe me, and I don't blame you. I didn't believe it at first either. But she actually does believe it. But first, they have to deal with this bear that killed this guy, because she says that the bear is going to want to try to find him because it was his food. So they're setting up a camp to try to not really lure the bear in, but if the bear does show up, they can see where it is. But they didn't even finish setting up really, and before the bear showed up, and it was already dark, so it was going to be difficult to deal with. The one part I did think was funny was Saiichi tried to punch the bear in the head. I'm surprised he didn't hurt his hand, because a bear's head is really thick, the skull. So yeah, I'm surprised he didn't hurt his hand. But he ends up getting underneath the bear, and he's holding on to the chest area with his knife, and he's trying to stab it. I believe he ends up shooting it in the side, where the heart would be, and it ends up dying. And she goes on, she pretty much told him that she believed his story, gave her part in it about how I guess her father is one of these people, or at least was killed by this guy. And he tells her, we both got a kind of a common goal here. I want the gold, and you want to get revenge for your father, so we both kind of have intersecting, our paths are going to intersect, seeing as how they're both looking for the same thing. So he asks for her to help. He just wants some of the gold. He doesn't want all of it. He said you can have most of it since it's basically yours. But he wants a good amount, enough to help take care of his friend's family, and they agree to that. I'm pretty sure I got some of that wrong, like this about what happened in the last episode. But as best as I can remember, that is how I remember it. um, so I do not know exactly what's going to happen. I kind of expect them to just pick it up right where it's left off, but I mean, maybe it won't. Maybe it'll be a little further ahead. So let's get into this episode and see what's going to happen. Video is going to be located over here, and the link to the reaction is going to be in the description down below. And we're going to start this episode in 3, 2, 1.